The sound of humming engines filled the air, steady, powerful, alive. Inside the repair bay of Outpost Nexus 7, a lone human worked among 17 alien species who barely spoke his name, Jack Harmon. To most of them, he was the Death Worlder. A mechanic from the planet Earth, a world famous across the galaxy not for beauty, but for how many ways it could kill you. High gravity, deadly creatures, wild storms. Humans were known as survivors, dangerous, unpredictable. Jack just thought of himself as a guy who fixed engines. The station floated on the edge of a dying star system, half trade hub, half scrapyard. It smelled of oil, ozone, and burnt metal. Every wall vibrated with the pulse of machinery keeping thousands alive. Jack wiped the sweat from his face, leaving a smear of grease on his cheek. "That should do it," he muttered, looking at the glowing warp core. Its turquoise light shimmered like a heartbeat returning to life. 6 months ago, he was on Mars, fixing shuttles for half the pay. Then came the offer, triple salary, 1-year contract, full isolation bonus. He'd said yes. Adventure sounded good on paper. Nobody told him he'd be the only human on a station full of aliens who thought eye contact was a threat and small talk was a declaration of war. He packed his tools and stepped out into the main corridor. The artificial daylight dimmed as the outpost switched to its evening cycle. Shadows stretched across the steel and stone architecture. Strange alien voices echoed around him, clicking, hissing. Musical tones blending with the hum of generators. Jack had learned one rule: mind your own business. But that rule ended the moment he saw her. She moved through the crowd like she owned the place. Tall, strong, elegant, 8 feet of bronze skin and silver hair that glowed under the lights. Her presence bent the space around her. Other aliens stepped aside. Conversations stopped. Jack froze. He'd seen many species before, but never one like this. Her silver hair shimmered as if it carried its own light. Her emerald eyes scanned the room like a predator sizing up prey. And then, she looked at him. The moment their eyes met, Jack's breath caught. He looked away, and too late. She was already walking toward him. "You are the human mechanic," she said, her voice smooth and commanding. It wasn't a question. Yeah. "Jack Harmon," he replied. His voice cracked slightly. "At your service." He held out his hand, human instinct. To his surprise, she took it. Her fingers were long, warm, strong enough to crush steel, yet gentle. "I am Narvex of House Thalen," she said. "My personal ship has a fault. The local engineers are insufficient." Jack nodded, pretending to understand. "Sure, I'll take a look tomorrow morning." Nar studied him for a moment, eyes glowing faintly like emerald fire. That's when Jack made his mistake. He smiled and said, almost without thinking, "By the way, your hair, it's beautiful. Like silver water." Silence fell between them. Narvex didn't blink. She simply handed him a small metal disc. "My transport. First light." And then she walked away, tall, calm, and unreadable. Jack stood there, heart thudding. What the hell just happened? The next day, he repaired her ship. It was routine, just a flux regulator misalignment, easy fix. She watched quietly the whole time, saying nothing. When the engine roared back to life, she gave a single nod and left. No thank you. No goodbye. Jack shrugged and returned to his quarters, ready to call it a day. He didn't realize his life was about to change forever. The colony was quiet that night. 2 artificial moons glowed overhead, bathing the metallic buildings in cold light. Jack walked home through narrow streets, the sound of distant engines fading behind him. Then, a shadow moved. Before he could react, a hand slammed against his chest, pinning him to the wall. He looked up, straight into the glowing emerald eyes of Narvex. "You have awakened my call, human," she said softly. Jack blinked. The war drums of Outpost Nexus 7 didn't sound like music. They sounded like metal grinding against metal, the low hum of power reactors mixed with the heavy footsteps of soldiers preparing for something ancient. Something deadly. Jack Harmon had no idea those sounds were for him. He hadn't slept all night. His brain kept replaying the same insane sentence. "You are bound." Narvex's words echoed in his head like thunder. One innocent compliment. and now an alien warrior princess claimed he was her mate. And apparently the local warlord wanted to kill him over it. Jack rubbed his temples. Why couldn't I just keep my mouth shut? A loud knock made him jump. The door slid open. Narvex entered. No armor, no weapons, just calm, towering confidence. Her silver hair shimmered under the dim lights. "You did not sleep," she said. "How could I?" Jack snapped. "Yesterday I was fixing engines. Today I'm apparently married to you and expected to fight a giant bronze gorilla in a death match." Nar tilted her head. "Commander Krell is not a gorilla. He is Thalen, and yes, you must fight, or the bond is void." "Great. I love having options," Jack muttered. Nar approached slowly, her green eyes watching him with quiet intensity. "You have 7 cycles," she said. 7 days to prepare," Jack sighed. "For what exactly? To get beaten into space dust?" She didn't answer. Instead, she extended her hand. "Come with me." They stepped out into the heart of the station. The artificial dawn was rising, bathing the colony in pale light. Aliens turned to stare. Whispers followed them through the corridors. The human, the one who awakened the call. He won't survive. Jack felt like an animal on display. Nar led him through a secure gate into an underground dome. The door sealed behind them, revealing a vast training chamber filled with weapons, glowing runes, and gravity control platforms. Jack whistled. "Nice gym." "This is the Hall of Proving," Nar said. "Where our warriors are forged," he frowned. "Yeah, well, I'm not a warrior. I'm a mechanic." "You are human," she replied simply. "Your kind survived on a world where everything tries to kill you. You will learn fast." Before he could argue, she tossed him a small, glowing blade. It hummed to life in his hand, vibrating with strange energy. "Lesson 1, she said. Don't drop it." The next hours were chaos. Nar trained him with a mix of patience and ruthless efficiency. Jack learned how to breathe in thinner air, move under heavier gravity, and counter blows that could crush bone. Every time he fell, Nar ordered him to rise. Every time he complained, she smiled slightly and said, "You are still alive. Continue." By the end of the session, he was drenched in sweat, muscles shaking, lungs burning. "How do you people even breathe like this?" He gasped. Nar handed him a flask of blue liquid, Thal nectar. "It helps the body adapt." Jack took a cautious sip. Sweet. Electric. His whole body tingled. "What's in this stuff?" "Knowledge," she said. That night, as the training lights dimmed, Nar led him to a quiet chamber filled with bioluminescent plants. Their glow cast soft colors across her bronze skin. Jack sat exhausted. "So tell me, why does your species take a simple compliment so seriously?" Nar's expression softened. "Because we are dying." That made Jack sit up. "Our people were once many," she continued. "But generations of genetic failure have made us few." The call, the bonding instinct, was nature's last attempt to save us. When one feels the call, it means the genes align. A chance to restore what was lost. Jack frowned. "And somehow I triggered that." She nodded slowly. "You did not just speak of beauty. You resonated. The call recognized you." Jack ran a hand through his hair. "So I accidentally became your species' last hope." Nar smiled faintly. "Accidents can change galaxies." Before he could reply, a loud alarm cut through the chamber. Red lights flashed. Nar moved instantly, her reflexes sharp as lightning. "Commander Krell." The wall screen lit up. Krell's bronze face appeared, cold and furious. "Your human is amusing, Narvex," Krell sneered. "But the Council will not wait 7 cycles." "The challenge is moved to tomorrow," Nar's voice hardened. "You break the ancient code." "I rewrite the code," Krell said. "The Council fears contamination of your bloodline. The human dies at dawn." The transmission cut. Jack's heart dropped. "Tomorrow? Are you kidding me?" Nar turned to him, her jaw tight with anger, but her eyes held something else, fear. "You have less than 1 cycle," she said quietly. "Then the challenge begins." Jack stared at her. "I can't win this." "Then we adapt," she said. "Humans always do." The next few hours blurred. Nar trained him harder, faster, no breaks. She made him memorize movement patterns, combat strategies, breathing techniques. Between drills, she watched him carefully. The station was watching him. Jack Harmon could feel it. In every glance, every whisper, every security drone that hovered just a little too close. By dawn, he wasn't just a human mechanic anymore. He was the challenger, the outsider who dared awaken the call, the man who must face a Thaylen warrior in ritual combat, or die. He stood alone inside the dim chamber of the Hall of Proving. His heart was racing. Artificial lights flickered overhead. The floor hummed beneath his boots. Alien symbols glowed on the walls, ancient, mysterious, and a little terrifying. And in the center of the room, Narvex stood like a shadow made of bronze and moonlight. "You're late," she said. "I didn't sleep," Jack muttered. "I was busy, planning how not to die today." Nar tossed him a small weighted staff. "Good. Then you're halfway ready." The next few hours were brutal. Jack trained under heavier gravity. He learned how to dodge, how to strike, how to survive. Every move was pain. Every mistake meant falling. But Nar didn't slow down, and Jack didn't stop. He fell. "Got up, bled, got up again. Your bones are denser than ours," Nar observed. "Your muscle recovery is faster. Your pain tolerance is disturbing." "I'm from Earth," Jack gasped. "We wrestle bears for breakfast," she blinked. "Do you truly?" He smirked. "No, but it feels like it today." Suddenly, the training chamber went dark. Emergency lights snapped on. Blood red. Eerie. "System fault," Nar said sharply, already moving toward a console. Jack squinted through the dim glow. "That's not a fault. That's sabotage." A small figure scuttled into the room. Part insect, part engineer. Tikra. 6 legs, glowing eyes, brilliant brain, and possibly the only non-Thaylen ally they had. "Atmospheric sabotage," Tikra buzzed. "Oxygen levels dropping. Pressure rising." "Classic Krell move," Nar cursed under her breath. "He's trying to simulate Thaylen homeworld conditions," Jack said. "So I choke before the fight even starts." Tikra chittered with dry amusement. "Yes, and probably die during warm-up." "Wonderful," Jack muttered. "He's not even pretending to play fair now." Tikra moved fast, all limbs working. "I can restore systems, but he'll do it again." "You need an edge." Jack's mind began spinning. An idea sparked. "I can build something," he said. "A device to regulate my body. Temperature, oxygen, heart rate. Just enough to survive in hostile settings." Tikra's eyes gleamed. "Death world mechanic with mad ideas." "I like you," Nar crossed her arms. "How long would it take?" Jack looked at the toolkit Tikra handed him. 12 hours.
Maybe less.
"But I'll need help." "You'll have it," Nar said. As the others prepared weapons and political favors, Jack sat cross-legged on the cold floor, building a device out of scavenged tools, microcoils, and alien tech. His fingers moved like lightning. His mind was sharp, focused. This wasn't a fight he could win with muscle, but with mechanics. Maybe he called it the environmental compensator. A small armband that would trick his body into thinking it was still on Earth. For just 30 seconds. 30 seconds of normal breathing. 30 seconds of strength. 30 seconds to turn the tide. Later that night, Jack sat beside Nar in her private quarters. He was exhausted, grease-covered, and full of silent fear. "I don't get it," he said softly. "Why me? I'm not a hero. I'm not a soldier. I'm just me." Nar looked at him, her expression unreadable. "When the call awakened," she said, "it wasn't because of your muscles or your weapons. It was your nature," Jack scoffed. "My nature? Your refusal to back down. Your need to fix what is broken, and—" She paused, brushing her fingers gently through his hair. "Your honesty." Jack leaned into her touch without thinking. For a moment they said nothing. Two beings from different worlds, connected by accident, bound by something deeper. "You know this could all go horribly wrong tomorrow," Jack said. "Yes," she whispered. "But it might also change everything." Just then, a message appeared on the screen. Arena confirmed. "First Light, Council present. Combat approved." Tikra's voice buzzed through a nearby speaker. Also, Krell added a surprise. "He's bringing his best champion." Jack raised an eyebrow. "Better than him?" "Worse," Nar said. Vorn, a hologram appeared. A massive Thaylen warrior, larger than Krell, scarred and armored. His weapon, a curved staff that pulsed with energy. Jack's throat went dry. "That's who I'm supposed to fight?" Yes, Nar said calmly. But he has weaknesses. Great, Jack said. Let's hope they're allergic to sarcasm and scared of duct tape, she smiled. No, stamina, flexibility, tactics, all weaknesses you can exploit. Jack nodded slowly. So I don't fight like a warrior. I fight like a human. By midnight, the device was complete. Tikra ran diagnostics. Nar calibrated the arena maps. Jack tested his grip on a new weapon, forged by Nar herself. As they stood together in the dark chamber, the room glowing with alien lights, Jack turned to Nar. If I don't make it, you will, she interrupted. But if I don't, he continued. Promise me something. She tilted her head. Don't let them forget what happened here. What we did. Why it mattered. Nar stepped forward, placed her hand on his chest and whispered, You are the first, Jack Harmon, not the last. It wasn't just a fight anymore, it was history. The crowd gathered before sunrise. Thousands of beings, tall, small, winged, scaled, packed the ancient stone arena of Outpost Nexus 7, now humming with raw tension above them. Artificial suns burned red. The ground beneath their feet remembered wars, trials, executions, and now, one mechanic from Earth was about to make the most unlikely stand of all. Jack Harmon stood at the edge of the arena floor. Looking up at the sky, his heart pounded, not with fear, with clarity. He had trained. He had bled. He had built tech from scrap. And somehow, through a ridiculous mistake, he had become a symbol. Behind him stood Nar Vex, silent and powerful in ceremonial black. Her eyes never left him. You don't have to do this, she said softly. Jack shook his head. I do, not just for you. Not even for me. He looked out at the watching crowd. So many species, so many lives. I do this because someone has to tell the galaxy, you don't mess with humans. Not today, a horn sounded. From the far end of the arena, his opponent entered. Vorn, the champion of House Krell, 8.5 feet of solid muscle and scar tissue. His bronze skin shimmered with war paint. His curved battle staff crackled with blue energy. He didn't roar. He didn't speak, he just walked, like a tank with purpose. The crowd fell silent. Council member Pren rose from the high seat above the arena. His voice echoed through hidden speakers. Today we witness the challenge of the call. The human, Jack Harmon, has claimed Nar Vex. House Krell contests the bond. Combat will decide fate. Until one yields, no death, no retreat. Begin. Jack activated the environmental compensator on his arm. The band hummed softly, stabilizing his body, feeding him clean oxygen, cooling his blood. He gripped his weapon, a compact staff custom-built by Nar. Light, fast, hard. Vorn tilted his head, studying him. You're smaller than I expected, the warrior said, voice deep and calm. I get that a lot, Jack replied, circling. Vorn spun his staff once. Let's see if size matters, he charged. The first blow came fast, too fast. Jack barely ducked, rolling across the dirt as the staff slammed into the ground behind him. Cracking stone. He moved like a shadow, bobbing, weaving, dodging. He couldn't meet force with force, so he used speed, strategy, timing, every second. The atmosphere grew hotter, thinner. Krell was pushing the environmental controls again, making it harder for Jack to breathe. The compensator buzzed in protest. Not enough. Vorn's attacks were powerful, but predictable. Exactly how Nar had described. Big swings. Slow recovery. Jack struck back. Small hits, fast jabs, targeting the joints. The crowd gasped. A human was landing hits on a Thaylen warrior. But something felt off. Vorn was too slow, too deliberate, as if he was holding back. During a brief break, Jack whispered through clenched teeth, "You're not trying to kill me." Vorn's green eyes flicked toward the council box where Krell sat watching. "Smug, I follow orders," Vorn replied quietly. "But not all of them." Jack's mind raced. "You don't want to fight me?" Vorn circled slowly. "I want our people to survive. I want truth. If you win, it forces change." Jack narrowed his eyes. "So help me do it." At that moment, Krell stood and barked a command to a hidden guard. The air in the arena suddenly dropped. Oxygen levels fell even more. The heat spiked. Jack gasped. His vision swimming Krell was cheating, in a desperate move. Jack hit the emergency override on his hidden backup device, a pulse trigger built with Tikra. For 30 seconds, Earth-normal conditions flooded around him. He sucked in air like it was gold, and attacked. The next 30 seconds were a blur of speed and fury. Jack moved with power he didn't know he had. He struck at Vorn's knee, then elbow, then shoulder, targeting all weak points. The Thaylen warrior staggered, but his eyes shone with something new. Respect. Then Jack whispered, "Now!" Vorn roared and threw him, a full-body toss, straight toward the arena wall. The crowd screamed, but Jack flipped mid-air, twisting toward the control panel near Krell's viewing platform. He landed hard, rolled, and slapped a device onto the console. Screens lit up instantly. Data burst across the arena. Streams of suppressed genetic files. Hidden test results, DNA reports. Nar's voice echoed through the air. These files show that interspecies compatibility exists. Krell has hidden the truth. He has sabotaged our survival. He wants control. Not salvation. Krell jumped to his feet, red-faced. Lies. All lies. Council member Perrin stood slowly. The arena didn't cheer, not at first. Not when Jack exposed the hidden data. Not when the truth lit up the sky. For a long, tense moment. No one moved, because when an empire built on silence cracks, the first sound is always silence. Krell's face turned pale bronze, stunned. Furious, caught. The arena screens glowed with line after line of exposed truth. Genetic match reports suppress birth viability charts, cross-species. Compatibility hidden under classified House Krell. Only thousands of spectators gasped as centuries of secrets played in front of their eyes. House. Krell had buried hope, buried the truth that could have saved an entire species, and now a human mechanic from a distant planet had uncovered it, live, during ritual combat. Council Elder Perrin stood slowly, his long white robes brushing the wind. "These files," he said, voice shaking, "bear your seal, Commander Krell. Your command codes. Your signature." Krell tried to speak, but no words came. "Just rage. You manipulated our extinction," Perrin whispered. And then Narvex stepped forward, her eyes burning with fury. He didn't just hide the future, he tried to kill it. The arena erupted, shouts, screams, voices rising from every corner of every species. Not just Thaylen, Tikra's people, the scaled Giantess, observers, the skywalking, Sylith, even the stoic Taurian elders stood in silent judgment. Krell looked at Jack, looked at Nar, then turned and ran. Jack didn't chase. He turned to Nar, still catching his breath. His environmental compensator flickered from overload. "I told you," he said between gasps. "I'm just a mechanic." Nar smiled, proud, fierce. "Then you are the mechanic who broke a dynasty. Ours." Later, Council Hall Krell had been stripped of title and command. The council declared his secrets a betrayal of survival. Jack and Nar were summoned before the chamber, but not as criminals, as witnesses, as the reason change had begun. Council. Member Perrin addressed the crowd. "From today forward, the call will no longer be limited by bloodlines. It will be led by compatibility, truth, and unity." He looked directly at Jack. "And may the courage of this human remind us that sometimes the smallest spark burns the brightest in the darkest hour." The room erupted in respectful nods and quiet applause, the kind given only to those who altered the course of history. Jack swallowed hard. All he'd wanted was to fix a warp drive, and now he had fixed a species. Later that night, Nar and Jack stood on a high balcony overlooking the station's central dome. Below them, fireworks lit the sky in alien colors, purple flares, blue spirals, yellow rings of light made from gas particles. The celebration wasn't just for them, it was for hope, for what's possible. Jack placed his hand on Nar's. "I still don't believe this is real," he said. "One compliment." "And all of this?" Nar looked at him, serious. "It wasn't the compliment. It was what came after. You didn't run. You stood, and you fought. Not just for me, but for a future you didn't even belong to." Her hand slid to her abdomen. "And now—" "You do," Jack blinked. "What are you saying?" Nar took his hand and pressed it gently against her stomach. "You remember the tests, the bonding, the data." He stared at her, eyes wide. "No way." "Yes, Jack Harmon," she said softly. "Our child lives." Jack's breath caught in his throat. His knees almost buckled. "A human. A Thalen. A child that wasn't supposed to be possible. Do you know what this means?" He whispered. "Yes," Nar said, voice steady. "It means the future now has a name." 1 month later, Earthjack stood with Nar on the steps of the New Geneva spaceport. They were flanked by Earth's top diplomats and Thalen elders. Behind them, media drones, journalists, scientists. Every camera was locked on Nar's glowing bronze skin and barely visible baby bump. Jack adjusted his collar. "Remind me again. How did I get into this?" "You told me my hair looked like moonlight," Nar said, not missing a beat. Jack chuckled nervously. "Yeah, maybe I should stop giving compliments." "No," she replied. "Maybe the galaxy needs more of them." As they entered the halls, Jack Harmon wasn't born to be famous. He never dreamed of giving speeches, shaking hands with politicians, or walking red carpets surrounded by aliens and Earth's leaders. He was a mechanic. He fixed broken things. But now, he'd accidentally fixed a dying species, exposed a galactic conspiracy, and married a bronze-skinned alien warrior princess. Oh, and they were expecting a child. As the diplomatic ship Harmony approached Earth's orbit, Jack stared through the viewport in stunned silence. He hadn't seen his home planet in over a year. Now it looked different, not because Earth had changed, but because he had, behind him. Nar Vex entered, her footsteps graceful as ever, despite the small curve now forming under her ceremonial gown. "You're quiet," she said. Jack turned, smiling slightly. "I'm thinking." "Dangerous habit for humans," she teased. He chuckled. "I was just remembering the first time I saw you. You scared the hell out of me." Nar stepped closer, her bronze hand resting gently on his. "And now?" Jack looked at her, still stunned by how far they'd come. "Now I'm about to introduce you to my planet as my wife, and the mother of a child that shouldn't even be possible." Nar's smile was calm, yet full of quiet fire. "Impossible is your specialty." The ship docked at New Geneva Spaceport, Earth's new diplomatic capital. The landing bay was packed. Reporters, military guards, scientists, ambassadors from every continent. Jack stepped out first. Nar beside him. Flashbulbs exploded. Cameras hovered. Earth had never seen anything like this. An alien princess holding the hand of a scruffy Earth mechanic and glowing softly, with new life. The crowd fell silent. Then came a voice, strong, official, female. Ambassador Jack Harmon. "On behalf of Earth, welcome home." The speaker was Ambassador Lee, Earth's highest-ranking interstellar diplomat. Her silver hair shimmered under the lights as she shook Jack's hand firmly. Then she turned to Nar. "And Princess Nar Vex of House Thalen. Earth honors your courage and the hope you carry." Nar gave a respectful bow. "It is our child, but it belongs to both our peoples now." The press conference that followed felt like a dream. Jack answered question after question. "Did you really propose by accident? What's it like being married to an alien warrior? How did a compliment cause interstellar political upheaval? Is it true your child might unify two species?" He kept replying with the same mix of awkward charm and honesty. "I just told her her hair looked like moonlight. That's it." The crowd laughed, but they also listened, because this wasn't just about love. It was about what love had made possible. In the weeks that followed, Earth and Thalen diplomats signed the Unity Accord, a historic agreement for cultural, technological, and biological exchange. Human scientists studied Thalen genetics. Thalen engineers helped enhance Earth's space habitats. Even food exchanges began. Nar tasted ice cream for the first time. Her reaction was instant. This should be illegal. Jack laughed so hard he nearly dropped his spoon. One night, as they walked through a peaceful Earth garden under real stars, Jack glanced at Nar's growing belly. "You know," he said, "I'm still not sure I'm ready to be a dad." Nar stopped walking. "Neither am I," she admitted. But we weren't ready for each other either. And yet, here we are. They sat under a tree. Jack took her hand. "What do we call him?" he asked. Nar closed her eyes, thinking, in my language. "There's a word, Thalen. It means bridge, between sky and land, past and future." Jack nodded slowly. "Then that's what he is, our Thalen." The news of the pregnancy reached every corner of the galaxy. Some called it a miracle. Some called it blasphemy, but most called it hope. 6 months later, Earth's first hybrid medical center. Jack paced outside the delivery chamber, heart pounding. Inside, Nar was surrounded. Outpost Nexus 7 had changed. Once cold, grey and divided, it now shimmered with new life. Banners of many species hung side by side. The dull corridors now buzzed with shared languages, laughter, and the hope of something never seen before. Unity, and all of it began with a human mechanic who said the wrong thing. To the right woman, Jack Harmon stepped off the shuttle ramp with his son in his arms. The baby, Thalen Harmon Vex, yawned, tiny fingers curling around his father's shirt. Behind Jack, Nar Vex walked with her usual grace, now dressed in hybrid ceremonial robes, earth black with Thalen silver lining. The crowd that welcomed them was enormous. Tens of thousands from every known species, and a few unknown, stood in silence. Then, they bowed. Tikra, now governor of Harmony Station, scuttled forward, eyes glowing. "You have returned." "With the future in your arms," Jack smirked. He pooped during landing. "Future smells weird." The crowd laughed, even the dignitaries. But it was real, raw, human. That's why they loved him. He wasn't trying to be a hero. He just became one by doing what no one else dared. Connect. Inside the newly renamed Harmony Council Hall, the great leaders of Earth, Thalen, and the outer species met for one purpose: to declare Thalen Harmon Vex a galactic symbol of peace. Jack stood with Nar before the United Assembly, their child swaddled in a cloth woven from both their cultures. Councillor Pren addressed the crowd. A mechanic, a warrior, a child born of courage. Today we witness not just a family, but a beginning. Later that night, Jack walked alone to the viewing deck. He looked out at the stars, the same ones he used to dream about from Earth. He didn't feel like a mechanic anymore, or a hero. He felt responsible. Nar joined him, wrapping her arms around his waist. "He finally fell asleep," she said softly. Jack smiled. "He's got your stubbornness." "He has your heart," she whispered. "Both may be dangerous." They stood there side by side, watching ships enter the station, species once hostile now coming to learn, to share, to change. A quiet moment passed. Then Nar spoke, her voice low. "1 year ago you complimented my hair. Now you hold our child. Our people breathe new life. The station is no longer divided, all of it, because you spoke without thinking." Jack turned to her, eyes shining. "Yeah, I really need to be more careful with my compliments." That night, a special ceremony was held in the main plaza. In front of the entire station, Tikra unveiled a statue, tall, shining metal shaped in 2 figures, a man with a wrench in one hand, holding a baby, a woman tall and proud, with a glowing braid of silver hair. Below them, a small inscription in dozens of languages. "Hope begins with honesty. Peace begins with a mistake. Humanity begins again, with love." After the crowd cleared, Jack leaned over to Nar. "Do you think he'll be proud of this someday?" he asked, nodding to their son, asleep in Nar's arms. She looked at the child, then up at the statue. "No," she said. "He'll think we were insane," Jack laughed. "He won't be wrong. As the stars turned above them, and Harmony Station glowed with light, Jack realized something. The war never came, the fear never won, and the galaxy, somehow, was still big enough for one mechanic, one warrior and one tiny child to change everything. Final scene back in their quarters. Jack rocked little Thalen to sleep. Nar watched from the doorway, her eyes soft. "You still think you're not a hero?" she asked. Jack shrugged. "I still think I was just doing my job." Nar walked in and kissed his forehead. "Then maybe the galaxy needs more people who just do their job." As their child finally closed his eyes, Jack whispered, "Sleep well, little bridge. The universe is waiting for you." The end.